Yeah, it started one day. I really came to my place and I had these stacks of books on the table because I love to read. I love reading books a lot. So I had this book. It's 4-in-1, one John C. Maxwell book. The book looked very bulky. So then it was in between a field between it had a field among universities then. That was when I was saying some universities have glory. So it now came like, how come if we open the book of universities? So it was all like, open the book of university, and from nowhere I started saying something from out of the hook. So from there it started, we posted it and it worked. So then it dawned on us that there's actually a concept which revolves around opening of book. So we started infusing trends into it, and before we know it, it got people's acceptance. Yeah, social media has been of great help to me, I cannot lie, because for 5 years I've been doing comedy. I didn't really have a shot at reasonable prominence. So what social media did for me was, social media gave me leverage such that, it gave me the platform to now showcase the capacity I've built over time. I wouldn't have done it better because everyone has a quota when we're opening the book. Everyone has a quota. He has his input, I have my input. So if I do it alone, it's not complete. If he does it alone, then it's not complete. So for that book opening, when we used to open it then, it was a fusion of two of us. So I couldn't have done it better on my own. That's it. Basically, I've not gotten there. Like I always tell people, for me, I believe that there's no there. Because the moment you get there, you will see a better there. So it makes it endless. So, but I've always looked to a time like this where I've always envisioned it. So when I see it now, it just reminds me of those days when I had written it down and seen it coming to reality, although I've not even gotten close. But seeing it come to reality is a dream come true. It's a dream in progress. I will be a teacher. I have this passion for teaching. I love this passion for empowering lives, and I'm still doing it. So that's what, for me, comedy is not the totality of what I do. Comedy is not the totality of what I do. Comedy has only given me leverage to give other parts of me expression. So comedy is not the totality of what I do. Comedy has only given me leverage to give expression to other parts of me that I need to use to bless lives and impact people. I've not even started. Where I'm going, I've not even gotten the ticket. I've not entered the bus. So it's still, I've not even started the preliminary stage. So everything, no, I've not started. I've not even gotten here. Tribalism, I would say no. Favoritism, I would say, is a natural phenomenon. Everyone has favorites. Everyone has cliches. Everyone has his own clans. Everyone has people we are comfortable with. So when people talk favoritism from the negative perspective, I don't believe, because human beings are social, we are social beings. So we should not say favoritism is negative. Everyone has people we naturally flow with. Tribalism, I would say no, but favoritism is natural. It's natural, there will always be. Alright, basically, Ali has been my friend since we met January 18, 2009. For you to know, I still remember the date. He's been a great guy. We met. What made it sink for us was, at first, it was friendship before career. We met on the pedestal of friendship before career now came in. So it is friendship for us. It's not competition. It's friendship. And God has done it in a way that God has given us our individual peculiarities that gives us the chance to express ourselves as individuals, and even when we now come together collectively, we are still a force. So basically that settles it for us. It was on the pedestal of friendship, not on the pedestal of career. Yes. Obafemi Awolowo University, the best university, in this part of the world. Greatest Ife. Quite a couple. What are the things we fight about? I'm trying to remember. Just the normal petty things that just keep. The things we fight about are the things that keeps us together. Like, we all have our different personalities. So his personality is different from mine. So, but it's cool. It's cool. I would say we are not gospel, we are not secular. A brand is a brand. Because I always, like the question I ask people, if you want to enter a bus now, will you ask your driver, are you a gospel driver? Or the pilot that took you when you were traveling, did you ask the pilot, are you a gospel pilot? So a brand is a brand. Don't add any gospel infusion to it. A brand is a brand. The onus lies on you to be excellent and deliver well for what you are known for. So don't come gospel. No, I don't believe there's a gospel. Do we have gospel tailors? Or if you are sick, when you go to the hospital, you will ask the doctor, sir, before you treat me, are you a gospel doctor? Professionalism comes first. He's good at what he does, treat me. That's it. So I don't belong to that school of thought that says one gospel. No. I appeal to all cliques, I do my job. Yes, I have my underlining morals, I have my underlining tenets that guide me, but as a professional, do your job. That's it for me. Bamlo is someone I respect so much, someone I watch his ministry has blessed my life tremendously. So if he's saying comedy is not good, that is from his own perspective. I respect the perspective the great man is coming from. I respect he's coming from a point of knowledge. Do you understand? So I respect it. I respect him for what he said. That's him. So because we live in an era where everyone has, I believe that if you ask him, he will have his reasons. Because of the truth, basically in this era, I can tell you that personally, that's why I'm a comedian. I've been in an event before when I saw a comedian went on stage. He was on stage and the things he was saying. See, comedy is a game of dynamics. There's a thing you say when you have young people around. There's what you say when you are in a church setting. There's what you say when you are in a mosque setting. Do you understand? So I believe it's a game of dynamics. If you don't understand the dynamics, don't dabble into it. I'm not here to argue about whether comedy is to be allowed in church or not. I won't argue about that. But I will only task comedians that if peradventure you were given a rare opportunity to perform in church, then you had better know what you're doing. The issue is this, you can't say without me there is no Arole. I feel is one of the wrongest statements anyone can utter, because God has created everyone unique. Meeting Arole helped me. Meeting Arole, working together with him, people that didn't know me before, meeting Arole gave me limelight. Working with him as a way of helping him too. So I just believe that our coming together gave us remarkable mileage. But saying Arole is not complete without me is a wrong statement. Arole is an individual with his own fantastic peculiarities. He's an individual with his own fantastic peculiarities. There are things he does I can't do. There are things I do that he can't do. So we are individual brands. So our coming together just gave us another mileage. And if you notice, there we have our individual parts. Is there. Our coming together was a force, and people loved it. So it's not a matter of, it's mutualistic. It's not a matter of one person is not complete with that. No, one person will try, everybody will try. And when we come together, it makes more sense again. Yes, because he has been doing his thing before I even came on board. He has been doing his thing before I came on board. I've always been doing comedy Before now, most people didn't know I won season 4. I was one of the finalists of Alibaba's Spontaneity season 4. So, but it's just that until you hit limelight, whatever you've done in the past, nobody noticed. Nobody. When if you want Big Brother, that's when they knew that you have done some tracks. I've been on this path before. Coming on Instagram, partnering with Arole now gave expression to that part of me no one has noticed before. Well, for me, I think it's strange coming from you anyway, because yeah, maybe some people might have said it as well, but nobody can live under anybody's shadow. Like I said earlier on, we are all individuals. We are all individuals with different wirings. So you can't live under anybody's shadow, because everyone has that unique thing. Everyone has his core. Like, you know, there are things you can do I cannot do. So life is individual, is individualistic in nature. But in your life journey, you will meet people. You will meet people. You will meet ladders. Do you understand? So I don't. So living under anybody's shadow is not in my register. I just believe that at every stage in your life, you meet people and you recognize their place in your life at that point. They're my friends now. When they enter my DM, they send me the ones I can reply, I reply. But I draw the line. So I know I relate with everybody, but I have barriers. If anyone wants more than friendship, then I will recommend a friend for them. I'm not in the best position to be their friend. If you want more than friendship, then I will recommend Facebook for you. You will get thousands of friend requests in minutes. So that's it. But for me, I believe if you're coming into my life, the first thing I notice for you, I'll look for how can I help you? How can I better your life? There's nobody that's worked with me that I've worked with that will now say, I have that grace. When I work with someone or when I'm in a place, things grow, things multiply. That's just me. That's the way I'm wired. So if I'm meeting you, it's because I want to better a course in your life. I want to further a course in your life. And in the process, me too, I find my advancement. That's how I see things. That's the problem. Everyone is a celebrity. If you have more than 15 people that knows you, you are a celebrity. That's just it. If it's 10, you are still good. But if I check your Facebook now, I know you have them in thousands. So you are a celebrity. Women is normal. Women love attention, they love spotlight. So when you are doing anything that pertains with the spotlight, automatically you know it's women magnet. But the onus now lies on you to control it. Because women rule the world. You can't discard them. Do you understand? So I believe if they ask me out, okay, you know, there are different ways of asking people out. They might want me to accompany them to the mall. To the bed. Why am I a hotel manager? Why would I accompany someone to the bed? You know, it's the hotel receptionist. If you lodge into a hotel, when I'm not doing receptionist job, how will I accompany you to the bed? Is reception okay? Excuse me, sir, your room is room 404. Can I accompany you to your bed? And I'm not working in a hotel. I'm a comedian. My work ends on the stage. Anything outside the stage, no. As a man, every man is wired by they get attracted. So it is for you. It's for you not to fall. That's why even the Bible says flee. So me, as a personal rule is, I have my clear-cut boundaries. So those boundaries put me in my zone of comfort. So I'm very sure that as a human being that I have blood running through my veins, if I cross that boundaries, I'm bound to do some things. So I know that the safest way for me is not to pass those boundaries. That's how I've managed to stay afloat. The pitfalls of celebrity, I think I can shed light in some areas. Number one pitfall of celebrities is this: fake life, the fakeness of life. There's so much falsehood in the lifestyle celebrities live. If you have 4 million naira, if you have 4 million and you bought a car worth 3 million because you have 4 million, you are a broke man. Because if you have 4 million, you should not buy a car of 3 million. You should buy a car of 1.2. That's me. That's how I reason. I believe one of the things that makes celebrities fall, for me, is the society and its people like this that are looking at me. They tend to put celebrity on a pedestal that is so high, and they begin to see that this guy has 20 million in his account, and the guy has 2,500 in his account. So the onus lies on him to start matching up. Fake life, don't allow them to push you. Most people allow them to box them into a uncomfortable situation. If you cannot afford to live in Ikoyi yet, live in Ogba. It's safe. If you cannot afford G-Wagon, use Toyota Corolla. It's that simple. Cut your coat according to your size. That's the first one, pitfall of celebrity. Then 2, you know, the game of entertainment generally is a game of relevance, and it's a game of constantly evolving. Our audience gets tired easily. It's not like someone eating rice. If you are giving them the same thing every day, they will get tired. So you need to start adding flavor. Okay, rice on Monday, Tuesday Chinese rice, Wednesday rice and plantain, Thursday rice and beans. It will not even get to a level. You will not even exhaust all those. Trust me, the game of content is very hard. It's tough because every day you are thinking. A banker works, let's say 8 to 4 or 5. Thereabout it goes on around 7, 8. An entertainer that is dishing out content does not have closing time. Every minute your brain is ticking. What next am I pushing out there? What next am I giving to people? So basically for me, if you can control your appetite not to live fake life, you can constantly evolve. And you have the right investment mentality. I believe one can avoid those pitfalls. And the most important thing is one needs to understand that fame is a visitor. Fame doesn't go for long. It's what you grab with that fame that now sustains you. Some people mistake fame for sustenance. Fame cannot sustain you. It's what you use that fame to achieve that will sustain you. So most people just play the game of fame. They didn't play the game of sustenance. That's what most celebs do. That's why at times we now, at a point, we don't get to hear about some people again. So I believe with my own little experience in this industry, I'm still a young entrant into this industry, but taking influence, drawing influence from people that have gone ahead, I can say these ones are major in the pitfalls of celebrities. One of the most important things I achieved with fame that I am so proud of was there's this part of me that loves to inspire people. There's this part of me that I want to see the best in people. But when I wasn't popular, nobody was taking notes. But fame gave me a leverage such that people tend to listen to me. So I tend to reach out to more people, and the testimonies were massive. And I have a little group, I call the group of achievers, whereby they give me progress reports of, okay, in that group I have people that are into cake business, people doing wigs, people doing... So what attracted them to me? The fame. So that part of me, I gave it expression. I was able to touch their lives. So fame has given me the opportunity to touch more lives. Fame has given me the opportunity to touch more lives and reach out to more people. That's golden for me. It's not, I don't know. It's not in my position to answer. But when he comes, ask him. Or even if he had come, said, you should have asked him. That's it. I would say it's quite a big deal. Thank you for that question. It's quite a big deal. Thank you for that question. The pain in the past. You know, basically, I came from a point of disadvantage I rose from several disadvantages. Like they always say, no pain, no gain. I'm someone that rose from several disadvantages, but I just believe that when those disadvantages are pointing at you, it's a pointer to the fact that you have a glorious destiny to achieve. I lost my mom at age 15. So many things. Lost my mom at a stage I didn't even know what I want to do with my life. I was confused. I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know whether, it's when you are confused that everything, you can just wake up in your house one day and you'll be tempted that, let me be selling caskets. It's like casket is a good business. Yeah, so the next day, I think selling pure water is good. Oh, okay, sell abonike inside traffic. You understand? So, but thank God for God, thank God for Jesus. I'm a Christian anyway. But basically, I just know that the pain is a constant factor for every great man. But how you now doctor the pain, let the pain push you to greater heights. There's this popular video that went viral some months back. Some people were sprinting, and there was this lady. She was about to hit the touchline. Then the other lady by her side, out of anger, just slammed her back. Bah! As she slammed she just went, and that was how she won. Most times you need pain. I see pain as the push to your greater heights. So the pain is part of it. I enjoyed it. It depends on what you mean by education. Education is not limited to the four walls of... Now, I studied microbiology, but I educated myself in comedy. Do you get it? The education I'm using to deliver my job as a comedian, I didn't learn it in the laboratory studying microbiology. It was a different kind of education. So we need to understand, we need to have the mentality that education is broad. Education is on per second basis. So anything you want to do, you need education. Education in that field. So without education, you will play second fiddle. There's no way, you can't escape. But that education, it does not necessarily mean that tertiary education or no. You can educate yourself on Google. There are so many tutorials online now. We are in the age whereby there's no excuse for you to be ignorant. Even as a housewife, you don't know how to cook, there's no excuse. Type it in YouTube, how to cook egusi soup. You will see tutorial. So there's no excuse for anybody in this age to be ignorant. Even if you want to slap somebody, sorry, I'm not encouraging violence. How to slap somebody is on YouTube. They will teach you. Raise your hand at an angle of 180 degrees, bring it down at an angle of depression, then use a pressure of 40 Pascal, and boom. But they will not add it, but you will land in the police station because that's violence. So it's part of it. Acting. I really does more acting than I do. It's the truth. But of recent, I'm start dabbling into acting. Mostly the sides of me that I've given more expression is the MC part of me, which I do so well, the stand-up comedy part of me, the speaker part of me, then the writing part of me. And by the way, my book is coming up. So my book is coming up December. You're going to like it, I can assure you. So, but the acting part of me, don't worry, I've had a couple of calls which I will heed to. You will see me on the screen soon. Now, I really does more acting than that one is very obvious. It might be because I've not really hit the screen like that for any major acting roles. So, but it might be now. Everyone is not wired to, but if I'm to act now, I started as a drama. Do you understand? It was drama I started with back then in 2009. It was drama. I was a drama person. I get to act the funny roles. Then over time, after I had mastered drama, then I switched to stand-up comedy. So that dramatic part of me is still there. So, and it's an advantage if I decide to switch into acting. I will call them mentors. I will call them role models, because mentorship is a broad word. I don't want to even go into the explanation. But I have role models. I have people I've looked at their exploits. People like the legendary Alibaba and Bovie. Bovie is kind of intelligence is rare. So it was one of the people that convinced me that there's a way you can still crack jokes and still make sense. And that has formed the core of what I do. I don't go outside the precinct of common sense when I'm cracking jokes. Wobi, kene mo ngba let me Broadway TV lawa, TV ológo, ogo, TV station tó máa play lọ́rùn lele. TV station tó ti interview àwọn angeli, àwọn náà interview Fẹlá Aníkúlápó Kútì, wọ́n interview MK Abiola, tale tún interview no. Interview Michael Jackson. Àyà mi tin jábẹ́ ṣe interview mi gan, but mi ò lè kú. Mo Kútì. Broadway TV logo ayé ẹ wà, ogo ẹ broad, ogo ẹ way. Broadway TV, kí ni mo rí yìí? Ẹ máa interview Obama. Alẹ́ ẹ máa interview Obama. Ẹ máa interview Buhari, sorry. Ìyẹn deep. Yeah, basically one of my unique selling points in comedy, even when I do proper stand-up. By the way, when I do proper stand-up, I do proper English. But one of my unique selling points is spontaneity. That's why I was saying that you cannot achieve much if you don't have a good knowledge base. So over time, I have a knowledge base of almost all issues. So if you tell me to open the book of, I remember the day we met Frank Edo, and then I opened the book of Frank Edo. What just came to my mind was someone that won 250 and now got back to 20,000. So you need to have that database, so you will not piece it together. You cannot crack joke about what you don't know. So for you to be spontaneous, you need to be knowledgeable. Read anything, everything, anyhow. That way, you will always have perspectives. So that's what works for me. God bless them. God bless you, P Square. Now come together. Now separate. God bless you. Even if you like, come tomorrow, say you are no longer Mr. P, you are Mr. Q. God bless you. Rude boy, if you like, come tomorrow, say you are not good boy. God bless you. You know, concern me. Now twins, so kilo come. Gbọ́ mi P Square, àdúrà tí mo gbà fún yín ní agbára sà. Ìran wo ni mo rí sí P Square yìí? P Square àti Rude boy, whatever you deem right, continue doing it. Both coming, it's not my concern. You guys are doing fine, no? I like you people. At least Peter go dey dance, Rude boy go enjoy your life. P Square, Ogoyin gbéra o, don't worry. See, tomorrow sef, me say I can wake up tomorrow now and start calling myself Ashiri Square. Kò sí nǹkan tó fi ń ṣe yàn. P Square, God bless you. Kí ló kàn mí? In the next 2 years, by then I would have been conquering the world on the global pedestal. My relevance would have gone global. And hopefully, perhaps, I should be married. Perhaps. Don't quote me. I said perhaps. If I were to be a pilot, anything obtainable at that level, but I know they pay them well. But it will be millions of dollars. Yeah. A teacher. I love teaching a lot. You can see that I have a new concept on Instagram now. They call Uncle Ashiri. Have you seen it? Where I have some students I teach. Yeah, I have a new concept and it's getting traction now. Social media beggars. I feel for people that beg legitimately, that have legitimate cause, it's good they are utilizing that platform. But for those that have turned begging to a way of life, please go and find a job. So for those that beg for legitimate cause, I think I want to congratulate you for using that platform. But for those that beg as a way of life, alaye double yours, go find work do. My favorite this year, which one is One Corner? I can, because of One Corner, go and climb the highest mountain and fast for 45 days. Can you get One Corner? That dance, How will somebody be, oh God, entering the gutter to dance, and you call that one dance. Ijó kọ́ yẹn o, that's the first stage of madness. Because tí wọ́n bá kọ́kọ́ fẹ́ ya wèrè bí ijó ló ṣe máa kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀, one corner, they worry you. You know where I don't know say that one corner don't enter Lagos, so that thing dey vex me o. We take that traffic now for third mainland. We just dey horn, the guy just come down from him motor, climb on top bonnet, one corner. Ah, that last man guy, God go bless that last man guy. Last man guy head to Sinu Odoni, Loma Bawon Ejaje, one corner. Say waiting. But my best song this year, no, this year was, I really need to laud our Nigerian artists this year. They were all fantastic this year. They kept on giving us hits. But my favorite this year so far is If by Davido. If, Orin Egberaga. If I tell you, say I love you, my body, my mind, my own, oh baby. 40 naira for the account, Yaba and Teshu show for your body, oh baby. Love do, gara for me, oh okay. Let me sing it in the Anglican way. I'll bear it, you will nígbà tó kọrin láti inú orin 462. If I tell you, say I love you, my body, my oh me, mama. Davido, God bless you for giving us that song. But you and I know that 30 billion no dey your account. Madam, don't let us go there. I'm going to have a movie in a couple of years, but not now. My project presently is my book, then my inspiration team. I'm building some youths. Then I'll have my show next year. It's going to be massive, very massive. 2 hours, only me. Oh my deep gone. Oh God. If you no come, oh go here. Oh the virus terabyte. Oh co-virus in here. Broadway TV, the best TV in this side of the world. Broadway TV. Oh go here broad. Oh go in fair. Can the month let me see Broadway TV? I'll interview Obama. Interview Osama. Sorry. I wanted to say you people will interview Trump, but I just look at the consequences. Lágbára Ọlọ́run Broadway TV. Ìrántí mo rí saying lágbára. Oh God. Before the end of this year, Broadway TV, you will conquer the world. Oribe, Oshebe, Ashiri of comedy. Wobi, oh deep gone. Broadway. Peace out.